Well, hello. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Sewers of Paris live stream. How lovely to see you all. We've got so many people already joining in. Hello, Videodrome TV version says hello. And there's a conversation happening about Levi Johnson. Oh, my goodness. Nudnik Jeff, I'm going to try to pronounce your name correctly. Mr. Debacle says hello. Hopefully this stream will not be a debacle. We've got Kevin Sean, and Hungry on Main is here. Lovely to see you. Dinobotful, Pika23, your hair is purple. That sounds amazing. Should I change the color of my hair? I was looking at Adam, oh no, I've forgotten his last name, Coble. I was watching an Adam Coble thing, and I was thinking, that's some nice hair. Should I have purple hair or pink hair? Probably not. I'll tell you a secret. Don't tell James I told you this. James's hair is getting a little longer, and I'm really into it. But don't let him know that I said that. What else? Oh no, Dark Ninja Firefox is here and smashed your pinky in your drawer. Oh, jeez. Hello to Richard Ian Tracy and Tommy L. and Ishan Shah. Hello, first time I get to be here. Well, I'm glad that you're here. So, what are the things that you're watching right now? How has your queer life been? What is consuming your attention on the television and in the movies and in music and in books and all of that? We just watched The Dragon Prince, not very queer at all, sadly. I was hoping for more. Like, it's very inclusive and very friendly and lots of great stuff. Nothing too gay. Oh well. So now we've started watching Hilda on Netflix. Also, not gay, but so relentlessly whimsical, it was exhausting for me. Like, I had to turn it off because I was like, this is just too cute for me. Alive from the Sewers says, Aubergine, good to see you. And Danit Rich says, hi. Libby's journal is orange, purple, and then like pale pink. Oh my god, that's a lot of colors. That sounds fantastic. Danit Rich says, I'm midway through Andrew Scott's Hamlet. How is Andrew Scott's Hamlet? What is Andrew Scott's Hamlet? Is it better than the regular Hamlet? Mushrooms and Mario, says Nunick Jeff. Is that like a thing? Or are you just like doing mushrooms and playing Mario? Kevin Sean is on a Truman Capote kick here. What are you reading of Truman Capote's? Obviously, Breakfast at Tiffany is the big one. Breakfast at Tiffany's. But a lot of like lovely short stories and In Cold Blood. But some really lovely short stories. I can't remember the name of any of them right now. But yeah, some really great Truman Capote stuff out there. The version of Breakfast at Tiffany's that I have, which is on that bookshelf behind me somewhere, has some short stories packaged in with it. And so that's how I became more aware of like his other writing other than like The Breakfast at Tiffany's, which obviously everybody knows. It's a great book that I found at a thrift store for like $6, and it smells like an old library. And I just love it so much. This music is getting very loud for me, so I have to turn it down. Let me know if I need to make any audio adjustments. And BT Dubs, we're going to be joined by Sonari Glinton at 3 o'clock, NPR's own delightful Sonari Glinton will be joining us to talk about whatever he's obsessed with, which I think is going to be some Sinatra. He's going to see a concert tonight, and I can't remember what it is, but he told me it's Frank Sinatra. He's going to go see Frank Sinatra tonight. No, it's Tony Bennett. He's going to see Tony Bennett tonight. But first, he's honoring us with a little visit. That's going to be happening at 3 p.m. Pacific. Ishan says, I found out about this playlist on Spotify called, oh man, I'm not going to pronounce this right. Sufjan? Is that how you say it? Sufjan Stevens song, Gay or Just About God, and it's my life. Yeah, I don't know his music that well, as evidenced by me not even knowing how to say his name, but, what I've heard, I've liked. The gays really seem to like him. He has butterfly wings or something? I feel like every time I see something about him, it's because he's got really cute butterfly wings. Speaking of which, whatever happened to Mika? Is Mika still a thing? Are we still listening to Mika? I feel like 2009 is the last time we were talking about him. Anyway, I started watching Van Helsing, says Mr. Debacle. Is that queer? Let's make it queer. Van Helsing is gay now. I've been watching The Good Place. I've heard good things about that. Eleanor's bi, kind of oblivious and beautiful. We like our bisexual heroines. Dancing Queen's coming out on Friday. Whoa, that's really soon, Pika. Is that like in the US or internationally? Or where is that coming out? Oh, gosh, I forgot that was coming up. That's, of course, Freddie Mercury. Wait, No, it's not. Is Dancing Queen? It isn't. It isn't. Or is it? I guess we'll never know. I could look it up. Dancing Queen? Because I know there's the Freddie Mercury thing coming out. Oh, wait. Dancing Queen movie? Oh, no, it's definitely not. It's something different. What's the Freddie Mercury thing? I'm thinking of the Freddie Mercury biopic, which is definitely not that. Freddie Mercury movie is called just Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm useless. Okay, so Bohemian Rhapsody is coming out at some point. I'm looking to see if there's like a release date. October 23rd. Nope, November 2nd. November 2nd. But what is Dancing Queen? Looks like it's something on Netflix, from what I can tell from the internet. London Spy. Ana Iglesias watched London Spy. It was good. I don't know about the HIV plot. Uh-oh, what is that? Once again, I forgot to bring something to write with. And I forgot my phone. I forgot everything. No, my phone's right here. Gosh, what is wrong with me? London Spy, what is that? It is not, I'm going to assume, the new Mr. Bean movie. I saw that Mr. Bean has a new movie coming out where he plays a spy. Cote Basque, 1965. What is that? Cote Basque. Is it Spanish? 2017 production of Hamlet, where Andrew Scott is played by Hamlet. What? Is that backwards? Where Hamlet is played by Andrew Scott? Just saw, the Samson and Delilah, in which the pagan orgy scene, was danced by members of the boylesque male burlesque troupe. That sounds fantastic. Opera scene, Samson and Delilah with a boylesque pagan orgy scene. Great. Ishan says, your bookshelf is eerily similar to mine. Is that because it's haunted? Is that what makes it eerie? Nunik Jeff says, Cher's album is disappointing. Well, I mean, what were you expecting? What did you think? I've been trying to read Other Voices, Other Rooms. Wait, Tomer, is that Truman Capote for some reason? I thought, no, Giovanni's Room is what I'm thinking. Yes, Other Voices, Other Rooms. I haven't read that. I can't get the rhythm of it yet. Star is Born is out on Friday. Oh, of course, A Star is Born. Speaking of which, why were we... Oh boy, this is a long chain of thought that I do not need to burden you with. But the short version of this is that we were recently talking about Barbra Streisand in... What's Up, Doc? Barbra Streisand, of course, in the Star is Born 1971 version? Or 72? But Lady Gaga, in that trailer, it looks like she's like really for real acting. Like actual actor acting. Not like, I'm a singer and I've decided to be in a movie for terrible reasons. But she actually looks like she's good at it. Which I guess shouldn't be surprised. I mean, she is a very talented person. I've been doing a ton of research and book... How did you get that book emoji? Libby's journal. You got a beautiful book emoji or emoticon. Emphasis? I don't know. My words are failing. So I slept 5 hours last night. Went to bed a little late and then just woke up at 8 o'clock and was like, I guess I'm just up. You know that thing it's super annoying where it's like, I'm very sleepy, but my brain has decided, no, it's daytime now. Welcome to the day. Tony Bennett, 92 and still great, says Gary Heron. I have not seen him lately. Is he... Imagine if he was in the Star is Born, the new Star is Born movie, as, Oh no, I've forgotten his name. What's the name? Spoiler alert. No, I'm not going to spoil anything. What's the name of that? James, we always say his name so maudlin. The man with the bathrobe at the end.
Norman Maine.
Mrs. Norman Maine. I assume he's not named Norman Maine in that Lady Gaga version. Maybe he is. Who knows? Mr. Norman Maine. Vampires, says Mr. Debacle, for no reason that I can discern. Vampires. Oh, Van Helsing. That's why. Yes, you could take some queer stuff from Van Helsing. Vampires are super queer. Absolutely. I was just thinking last night about... this morning about the Theater of the Vampires from Anne Rice's from Interview with the Vampires, about that ridiculous theater where they have murder shows, basically. Very gay. Today is the 64th anniversary of the premiere of Judy/James Mason's Star is Born. Wow, 64. Not as old as Tony Bennett. Oh, the Alyssa Edwards show's on Netflix. Wait, when is it on there now? Ishan Shah says, another indie game, excited for that. Hooray. Lovely. Richard and Tracy's back by tab crashed. Oh dear. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll try to take it easy. No sudden movements, anyone. Don't make Richard's tab crash. Tomer says, Mika fell out of popularity everywhere but France. He's currently judged on The Voice France. Oh. Does he speak French? I mean, I assume he would have to. Dancing Queen is Cher's new album. Oh, wait. Dancing Queen is Cher's new album. It's called Dancing Queen. I mean, okay, sure. You know what? She's Cher. She can do whatever she wants. Mr. Debacle says, finished all the episodes for Shameless, currently on Netflix. I've heard controversial things about Shameless. Libby's Journal says, No House to Call My Home by Ryan Berg, the ABCs of, whoa. I think you meant LGBT, but for some reason it came out as THLGBT, and I'm like, how many more letters do we need to memorize? Pika says, the Alyssa Edwards reality show. Yes, on Netflix. Hungry on Main says, do you know any gay Halloween movies? Do I? All right, let's talk about that. Gay Halloween movies. Go. And I'm going to rush through the chat to try to catch up with the chat because I'm way behind. Code Basque, 1965, short story by Truman Capote, blamed for the suicide of a socialite. Oh, my stars. What are your thoughts about Netflix Queer Eye recontextualized the whole gay makeover trope? Oh, my goodness, I have some thoughts about that. But we're going to talk about Halloween movies first. Lady Gaga was the actual actor acting in Marry the Night. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Any thoughts on LGBT fan fiction? Says King of Pointless. Yes, more. I can never get enough. I love it so much. I love queering stuff and being like, it's my canon now. Karamo? Oh, from Queer Eye. I've only watched a few episodes and I don't remember their names and I don't know how to pronounce anything. His wisdom is wholesome. I forget which one he is. I have thoughts about Queer as Folk. Nope, Queer Eye. I have thoughts about Queer as Folk too. I'm trying to find a way to watch A Simple Man. It's not on Netflix, Amazon, or Hulu. Really? Peak has to be to bed at 8. Oh, gotta be up for DragCon at 3 a.m. 3 a.m.? Why do you have to be up for DragCon at 3 a.m.? Oh, well, I guess, are you getting into Face? Because that'll take some time. Organized Mess is here. Hello. Down at Riches, I'm poised to rent Victim from 1972. That, 72? Is it really from 72? Hey, Siri, what year did Victim come out?
Victim by Avenged Sevenfold came out on the 27th of July, 2010.
That's the wrong Victim. By Avenged Sevenfold? Good grief. The movie Victim from 1972, I guess. I thought it was earlier than that, down at Rich. Really good. Really worth watching. Startling film. Black and white movie about like people being blackmailed in England. Organized Mess says, I don't know if I'm actually allowed to swear. You may swear. It is just fine. Do you see Law & Order SVU? Positive portrayal of transgender people. No, I did not see that. I think the last one of those that I saw was the furry episode from like 1997. Not so positive, but I'm glad that it had a positive portrayal of trans people. What was that? Dan Rich said, watch Reflections in a Golden Eye recently. Marlon Brando film, which is all about gay repression, also horses. What? That's amazing. I didn't know about that. Reflections in a Golden Eye. Not based on the James Bond video game, I'm assuming. 1954, Stars Born was produced while I was in the womb. Wow. Opera Z. That really set the tone for you. Friday Night Alyssa Show, it's on. Dancing Queen, says Pika. Wait, is that just the lyrics? There's dancing. Friday Night and Alyssa's Show. Doodle 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 doodle. That's not how that song goes at all. It just says vampire. Bleh. And for some reason it came with like, in my chat, I don't know if it looks this way for you guys, but the vampire emoji from Libby's Journal is first a vampire, then the color of the vampire's skin, and then a male icon. So I think it got encoded kind of strangely. Organized Mess says, can I tell you about a trans joke I made in theater? If it is a cool trans joke and will not bum people out, because we don't want to bum people out by hurting their feelings, but yes, you could tell a joke. Hungry Man says, who's this Cher person I keep hearing about? Oh, well, Sherilyn, I've forgotten her last name. Just some lady. You don't need to worry about her. Mika, oh, is Lebanese French. Oh, it's just he speaks English. I didn't know that. Lebanese and American, but grew in France and the UK. Everyone thinks he's English. You know, I don't think I've ever heard him speak. I've only heard him sing. So, anyway, I didn't know that. Just like Danny Thomas. Kevin Sean says, there's no gayer Halloween movie than Hocus Pocus, but I got my partner to watch Addams Family, so that's gay now. Oh my god, Addams Family and Addams Family Values. Very gay. Addams Family, of course, 1991 as Videodrome TV version says, it's wonderful, 1991, best watched on Halloween, then watch Adam Family Values for Thanksgiving, and then you watch Batman Returns for Christmas. Oh, New Nick Jeff says, Reflections of Goldeneye, Marlon Brando, Elizabeth Taylor. That sounds very gay. Oprazine says, in the movie, victim Dirk Bogarde goes to a male hairdresser shop. There's a front for gay hustlers, and one of the hairdressers there is an actor who played Captain Peacock. Wait, what? Who's Captain Peacock? Oh, in Are You Being Served? Oh. Not to be confused with, I've forgotten the actor's name and the character's name. I'm free. Have you heard of the artist Big Frida? Of course. I'm a big fan. Just got done, Videodrum says, just got done watching the whole Are You Being Served series. Oh my goodness, there's a lot, right? 70s film version and the early 90s reunion show, Are You Being Served Again? Wow. Oh yeah, Gary says, Victims from 1961. I thought, 74 seemed really late for that. 61. Oh, Kevin John says, Adam's Family Values is playing up the street on 35mm. We're going tomorrow. Oh my goodness. That sounds fantastic. Mr. Humphreys, that's his name. Yes, thank you, David. Oh my goodness, Adam's Family Values in 35mm. Oh, that'll be beautiful. The lighting in that movie on Morticia's eyes, when she just perfectly finds that shaft of light. Oh, it's such a good movie. I once saw a mermaid get proposed to by Gomez Addams. I was at a sci-fi and fantasy convention and went out to the pool because there was a mermaid gathering. And everybody's splashing around their mermaid tails. And then a guy who's dressed up as Gomez Addams gets down on one knee and proposes to one of the mermaids. And he says, he does the line from the movie, I would die for her, I would kill for her. Either way, what bliss. It was very sweet. Victor G says, I always had a crush on Gomez. Well, he's quite the seducer. Cher turned down Adam's Family because, oh my goodness. Hi from Maine says, Fretz Halligan, hello. Angelica Houston is amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to imagine Cher in Adam's Family. I can see it. I can't, no, I can. I was about to say, I can't see Cher with that long black hair, but of course I can. Emily says, see my blog, Emily's a Virtual Rocket. It's down a little. I saw, what did I see? Oh, Playtime, the movie Playtime in 50mm. Oh my God. Was it 50 or 75? I can't remember what the millimeter. Don't ask me to remember what size the film was. Anyway, I saw this film that I love, Playtime. A controversial topic in our household because James doesn't care for it. But I think it's lovely and very peaceful, and it makes me laugh. So I saw it projected in huge, the big size of film, whatever that is, 75, I think. And gosh, it was just gorgeous. I was just transfixed. Libby's Journal says, not a funny question, but does anybody have any advice for dealing with internalized biphobia? That is a journey. That is a lifelong journey, dealing with the demons that you pick up from the world around you. And I mean, for me, what helps me with that kind of thing, because it's internalized biphobia isn't something I know about. I haven't experienced, but anyway, this is a long answer to your question. Just being very mindful and deliberate about being oh, I'm doing that thing again, or, oh, I'm perceiving something. And you just have to tell yourself with these words, either it's all in my head or it's their problem, not mine. Or, just give yourself the reassurances that a friend would give you if they were there. Raul Julia was in a gay slasher movie. Oh, The Eyes of Laura Mars. Of course. Of course. Yes, I'm familiar with that one, but I have not seen it. But I don't know. Would you recommend that for Halloween? I was going to recommend Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's one of the rare horror films that has a last boy instead of a last girl. It's pretty queer. There's a scene in a leather bar, and there's a death by flogging. Not a Halloween movie, but we watched Pride, says Dark Ninja Firefox, about the solidarity of the LGBT community and miners during the miners' strike in the UK. That's delightful. Hungry in Maine asked about some controversy with Mid-Boss. I'm familiar with that. And Nuni just says, can we spend a really short time talking about Kavanaugh? If we must. It just, like, to me, like, it's just all part of, like, background noise of misery that is politics these days. And I don't intensely feel the need to be, like, to rehash all of it, other than to be like, you know, the short version of that is things are bad now, but they're going to get better. Hopefully soon. Everybody register to vote? Ishan Shah says, it's a bit dumb, but I find that taking comfort in all things purple, pink, and blue helps. You know, honestly, that is good advice. Like right now, for some reason, the camera that we've got hooked up here is not doing a great job of showing it, but we have bisexual lighting going on. You can just barely catch a little bit of a glimpse, a little reflection of my glasses. There's a blue light over in that direction and a pink light behind me. And so it's not really coming out on camera, but we've got some bisexual lighting happening here in the room. Organized Mess says there's this game where the person has to catch the other people out by saying their name 3 times. If they don't say their name back before the other finishes, they go in the middle. What? That is hard for me to follow. The person has to catch other people out by saying their name 3 times. So wait, I'm talking to somebody named Greg and I have to say Greg 3 times? So I just go Greg, 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 and they have to say Matt before I finish saying Greg? Is that how it works? That's so weird. Libby Journal says, apparently, according to my friends, I'm a cross between Wednesday Addams and Barbie. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think, of like other characters that would be. For some reason, Bayonetta's the first one that came to mind that made me think of. Victor says, I'm in graduate school in Portland studying social work. There's been little to no talk about biculture and consideration, so I feel lost on that topic as well. That's a shame. You should bring that up. I mean, if you want to. Yeah, because that's going to be a part of people's lives if you're doing social work. Oprazine says, Lies of Aura Mars. Yep, the Lies of Aura Mars. Eyes of Laura Mars has more horror in it than you would expect, but includes Faye Dunaway running the whole way down to Chelsea Pier in high-heeled boots. Oh, Lord. That is my sexual orientation. I now have to watch this, but I'll have to restrain myself, says Kevin Sean, from asking for an axe in that scene. You know, that's the thing, is poor Faye Dunaway. Oh, like, just that role following her whole life. Mr. Debacle says, I can see purple and pink lighting. Good. It is purplish, pinkish, and there's some bluish coming from that side. Victor G says, I tried. Oh yeah, I tried to bring up the topic of bivisibility, but I'm the only Latin in the group. Yeah, Oregon, huh? Which is, I'm sure that, but Portland, Oregon. So I was going to say, like, if it was, I don't know, Eugene or something, can be a little conservative. Portland seems like, it seems like it should be a little more open-minded, like, that people would want to talk about that. Libby's Journal registered to vote on my 18th birthday. Very good. Joshua Walker says, can a single straight male like myself do to help advocate LGBT issues? Oh, there's lots. Oh, there's so much that a single straight male. I welcome suggestions from the chat, but, I mean, like, one of the big things is just, like, okay, two things. One is, like, being vocal in your support and being, you know, talking about queer stuff and just being like, that's great, and just supporting queer stuff, going to queer things, amplifying queer voices, like if you see some queer person tweeting about something, retweeting them. The other, and also calling people out, like if somebody says something homophobic, just being like, that was weird, I didn't like that. The other is just like hanging out with queer people and asking them questions, like, because it's just nice when you're a member of a marginalized group to feel as though you are being heard. And one way to do that is to listen to what marginalized people have to say, whether they are marginalized because of their sexual orientation or gender identity, or because of their ethnicity or national origin, or because of their abilities, or whatever it is. Just, you know, basic questions like, how's it going? Or, did you hear about this thing? Or, you know, or are you doing okay if like something traumatic has been in the news? Or, you know, being like, I don't know. One of the things that has always been helpful for me to see, like, that I've appreciated straight people doing is just speaking approvingly of queer stuff. So I guess that's what I would recommend. It's small, but, and then also, of course, voting. Vote. So important. Portland is the gay island in a sea of red, says Ishan. That is what I hear. Like, you drive through Oregon, and it's just like billboards with weird conservative politics on them all the way through, except for a few little blue islands. Faye is amazing, says Kevin Sean. I love that Joan said the only competent actress near her death was Faye. Wow, I didn't know she said that. Richard says, Pride became a favorite of mine. So good, I have a Pits and Perverts t-shirt. That is very good. So I haven't seen it, but I suppose I should. Oh, Organized Mess says, you missed it. I had to post in 3. Oh no, I'm sorry, I missed it. There's a lot of chat happening and a lot of scrolling. And I lost my place. Victor says, I've had issues going to queer events where my masculinity and Latin background is more visible than coming out. So as bad as when I was in the military. I can imagine there were a lot of challenges there. Victor, yeah, you know, they're like everybody has these like expectations about events, like different depending on context. And when you go to queer events, if someone is not behaving in like the way that people at those events like expect someone to behave, like ideally you go to an event and people are like, whatever you are, you're welcome. But that's not always the case. Janet says, Pride is so good. Okay, I'll watch Pride. Have you watched Wonder Shows? And I don't think I have seen it. Very dark comedy offends everybody, says Hungry Man. I don't think I've seen that. Been rediscovering or rediscovering Snagglepuss lately, says Opera Scene. That makes me so happy. There is a Snagglepuss ad for, what is it for? Is it for like, it's not Crispy Critters. What is it for? It's for some cereal. Maybe it's like, what is it for? Anyway, there's a Snagglepuss commercial for some cereal that is, it's just my favorite thing in the world. I just love it so much. Let me see. I'm just going to see if I can call up. Okay, no, we're good. I was a little worried that I was just like prepping stuff for when Sonari calls a little bit later. 3 p.m. Pacific, Sonari Glinton's going to be calling in to chat. And so I was just making sure that all of our tech is set up for him. Kevin Sean says, have you seen the new comics where he's testifying in front of the McCarthy hearings? What world are we in? Ishan says, how can I convince my school's GSA that ACEs should be allowed? Well, I mean, that's a tricky question. I mean, for one thing, you shouldn't have to convince a GSA that anyone should be allowed. Like, everyone, of course, should be allowed. But, like, Ishan, what is the issue? Like, are they saying, like, if someone's asexual, that's not part of our thing? Part of the problem there is, like, GSA as a term, like gay straight alliance, is kind of dated and exclusionary. So, you know, it's part of that whole problem of, like, what is the term that we use that includes everybody? So, I don't know. What was the, gosh, there's the quilt bag acronym, which includes a lot of things. But you didn't ask about acronyms. How do you just convince them that they should be allowed? Just bring them. Bring ACE people and be like, this person is my guest. Or if you don't know anybody and you just want to make them feel comfortable coming, I don't know, you may have to, like, DIY some flyers for the GSA and be like, GSA meeting on Tuesday, ACEs welcome. I'll proceed to searching for Snagglepuss. Isha get angry, says Kevin John. Well, that too. That could, yeah, you do not get to be shunted to the side. You're part of the community. You should be welcome. There was another LGBT episode on Wonder Shows where Mother Nature was getting a sex change and making fun of transphobes. Good gravy. Snagglepuss. Oh, Cocoa Puffs. That's it, says Opera Zine. Thank you. Have you got around to seeing Very English Scandal? No, yeah. Okay, wait. Let me... give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab a notebook because, for heaven's sake, I don't know why I always forget a notebook every single month. Every single week I do one of these. I'm back. Okay. So, I dropped things. Okay, so. So we're doing, whoops. Pride, of course. Very English Scandal. The Lies of Laura Mars. Eyes of Laura Mars. What else? Snagglepuss pitching Cocoa Puffs. Or was it Cocoa Krispies? Oh no, now I'm questioning everything. Did you see the latest issue of British Journal of Photography? The article has some wonderful pictures of trans Brazilian women. Oh, that's nice. Glad to hear that. Presented flatteringly, or I assume, like, it's not some, like, look at these, look, just feast your eyes, like something exploitative. Dylan says, who's this cutie? Why, it's me, Herman. Cocoa Puffs was Sunny. Oh, that's right. I was confusing Snagglepuss and Bagpuss. Who's Bagpuss? Is he part of the Bilbo Baggins clan? Bagpuss from Bag End. Dr. History says, I need more LGBT books. Oh, I've got so many on the bookshelf behind me. What have I got? Like The Mayor of Castro Street, obviously. And my book, Defining Marriage, available now on Amazon.com. You can find that there, Defining Marriage. I'm just looking at what other gay books I have. It's hard to read because Gonzo's in the way. I have a stuffed Gonzo on the shelf behind me, and he's, like, positioned right in the way of the gay books. There's some marriage equality stuff, and oh, and of course, Woof, Perspectives in the Erotic Care and Training of the Human Dog. So that's in my collection. That was a gift. It was a gift to the world. Oh, and the Snagglepuss commercial entry says, greetings and hootenannies. I did not nail the voice there. Oh well. Watch The Ambassador on Netflix. Oh, here, just in time, we've got the Hallelujah Chorus. The Ambassador. Not to be confused. Wait, what's the one with Call Me Ambassador? Is that the, I'm totally forgetting it. It's the musical that has I hear voices but there's no one there. What's that show? Call Me Madam. That's it. So not at all related in any way that I should even have confused them. Isabel from Animal Crossing is bisexual, says Hungry Man. That's right. I heard that whether the player character is a boy or a girl, she confesses I think, right? Am I remembering that right? That she says she has a crush on the player character either way. So a little frustrating that those are your only two options, but oh well. I'm going to get drinks later for the Pride after party, but I don't drink a lot of alcohol and don't really know what I should get, says Dark Ninja Firefox. I mean, here's the thing. You don't have to get booze when you go out for drinks. Like, I haven't drunk it in a long time, but, you know, I still go out with friends and I'll have, like, a Coke or whatever. So if you don't want to drink, just don't drink. Ishan says, did you hear the news about India? Well, yes, decriminalizing homosexuality. Such a big deal. Oh my God, what is that? Like a fifth of the world's population. Still lots of work to do, of course, in India in terms of relationship recognition and ending various stigmas and stuff like that. But wow, what an advance. Eyes of Laura Mars, written for Barbara Streisand, but she didn't like the script. Oh, geez. Well, I could just picture Cher in that role. Anne with an E, I've heard it's good. Oh, so here's the thing. Started watching Anne with an E and I had to turn it off because I found the dialogue unbearable. I'm sure it's a good show, and I know it's got some queer representation, but the actress who played Anne with an E, I was like, I can't listen to this dialogue. It was the writing. I can't listen to this writing. Video Drum says she did that theme. Oh, did she do the theme song for The Eyes of Laura Mars? Huh. Dylan says, I suggested VidCon invite you. Well, thank you, Dylan. They should. Absolutely. Oprazine loves the Play School desk. Thank you. Yes, I got that at a that desk at a yard sale, I think, or a thrift shop. No, I think it was a yard. Oh no, I remember what it was. We went to see somebody who was doing like a little pop-up shop for their Odd Couture. We had a friend who was doing this thing called Odd Couture, which is basically just like vintage thrift shopping, like salvaging stuff and like doing a little bit of craft with the clothes that she would get from thrift shops. So we went to see her little pop-up thing and hang out. I think I took some pictures, and then we didn't get anything at this. It was a parking lot of an elementary school where they're just like stalls of basically, this is pre-Etsy, I want to say, or maybe not, but it was basically like Etsy in real life, where a bunch of little like makers of things set up little stalls, and we didn't get anything. No, we did. Oh my God, how could I forget? We got the elephant shirt, which maybe I'll wear that for you guys sometime. It is a hideous shirt with elephants all over it. And then as we were leaving, there was a yard sale happening across the street. We saw the desk and we were like, that's nice. Let's get it. Ethel Merman. Ethel Merman is in Call Me Madam. That's it. Dr. History says, if you were a drag queen, what would your drag name be? Agatha Christie. Videodrum says, I'm a teetotaler. You don't drink. Glad to hear it. There's lots of... it's not for any particular reason for me. I was just like... I just don't like being hungover. I just don't like how it makes me feel sick. So, no more drinking. Libby says, I'll remind you next week to grab a notebook and a pencil. And a pen. Thank you. How do you keep doing all these, like, icons? I love it. Oh, because there's an icon thing literally right there for icons. That's how you do it. Yeah, I've discovered your secret. That's nice. I never even noticed that was there. Yeah, so anyway, and also, by the way, before I forget, I just want to thank everybody who's supporting this live stream on Patreon. In addition to supporting this live stream, you're also supporting the Sewers of Paris and the Culture Cruise and Weekly Debrief and all those things that I put out onto the internet. So to everybody who supports everything on Patreon, thank you for making this all possible. I'll put a little link in the chat. patreon.com/MattBaum. Support the streams and get rewards. Patreon.com/MattBaum. And hopefully that link will work. There were problems with links in the past, so I don't know. That link might work or it might not. But anyway, hopefully it worked. So huge thanks to everybody who's pitching in and making these little video chats possible for everybody else. Videodrome is my favorite film, says Videodrome. Well, yes, sure. I believe you. Abertrax is here. Hello, Abertrax. Good to see you. How have you been? Nina Jeff says, drag name Wanderlust. Good. Oh, ale is a great thing to order instead of alcohol. Wait, is ale not alcohol? Libby's Journal says, fiction or nonfiction, because I'm swimming in... It says I'm swimming in infection right now, but I think you meant swimming in fiction? Or maybe not, swimming in infection. Maybe you're sick and you're looking for something to read? Well, for sure, anything Truman Capote. I'd like to get some alcoholic beverage tonight, but I don't know what would be good. Also, thanks for the suggestion. I love ginger ale. Okay, I'll proceed. You said ginger ale is a great thing to order. I just saw ale is a great thing to order instead of alcohol. And I'm like, I could have sworn ale is alcohol, but no, ginger ale. Here's like one of the gayer drinks that I order when I do order drinks, which is like never. A Midori sour. It is bright green and very colorful and ostentatious. But yeah, so I like to just hold it in my hand because it's colorful. Hungry Man says, I found out the creator of Chucky's gay when he posted a Mariah Carey meme on Twitter. Yeah, for some reason I knew that. I don't remember why I knew that Chucky is like considered queer culture, but it is. Maria Diamond says Dr. History. Maria Diamond. That's pretty good. Oh, it worked. Good. Thank you. Don Mancini. Mancini? Director of the Child's Play franchise. I think he wrote all 7 movies. And I just forgot my screen name was Videodrome. Yeah. Hello to Abertrax, a nice wave. A cool dude from Dylan. If you like something alcoholic, ginger ale is good with whiskey. You can usually get the bartender to make it weaker by asking. I love that we're like, the chat is advice for having the weakest possible drinks. Go get coffee or pop or milkshakes and have but not all together. Not like, I'll have coffee flavored milk soda. Don't have that. I have a lot of really religious friends, so coming up as of the dozen of alcohol. Coming up as of a dozen of alcohol is pretty easy for me. A root beer and ginger beer are 2 different things. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the difference between root beer. There's root beer and ginger beer, and I think there's a difference, but scientists are undecided. You guys, what other queer Halloween movie? Oh, well, Hocus Pocus, of course. What else? I guess we're talking like the Chucky movies, which I've never seen. I haven't seen any of those because they're too scary. What else was I thinking? I was thinking something. What was it? Oh, well, the Chucky movies. And Dolls is another decent one. I haven't seen that one. Really good killer doll movie. Is it queer? Britt Miller. It's a stealth pun, says Tomer Levy. Britt Miller. Britt Miller. Britt Miller? Britt Miller. Britt Miller. Britt Miller? I'm not getting it. My drag name is Britt Miller. Oh, Death Becomes Her. That's a good one. Yes, absolutely. Kevin Sean says root beer is technically Hawaiian. Really? Can't remember what the root is. Ginger beer is ginger. Huh. Root beer is Hawaiian, huh? One is made with... Oh, sassafras. That's it. Oh, Tony Perkins is Psychen. In Psychen. Tony Perkins in Psycho. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Not a very gay film, but like the presence of Tony Perkins obviously makes it kind of gay. Suspiria is the queen of queer horror movies. I haven't seen that one. Suspiria. I have a video, if you go like poking around on my YouTubes, about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, about Lost Boys, about Last Boys. I should do one about Lost Boys, about Last Boys in horror films and how queer that movie is. My goodness. Libby's Journal says I'm on my iPad at the same same emojis. My phone flag rainbow. Shirley Temple is a really old teetotaler. Oh yeah, you can get Shirley Temple, of course. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is good for Halloween watching. John Gavin in Psycho is not gay, but he is gayish in Spartacus. Okay, John Gavin. Which one is John Gavin? I haven't seen Suspiria either. Wait, John Gavin. What's his deal? John Gavin. Oh, that guy, yeah. He's got a real that guy kind of face. Is he still alive? No. Oh, just died this year. Oh, well. Oh, well. I don't know what I mean by that, but yeah. Let's just going to make sure Skype is ready for when it is time to dial in Sonari. Oh, how about this music, you guys? Boop. Oh boy, not now. Skype doing all kinds of like crazy, like, oh, it's me. Here I am. I'm ready to do your bidding, and that means downloading a million updates. Oh, Rocky Horror. Yeah, Rocky Horror. Absolutely. I'm planning to do a Rocky Horror video this month for in October. This coming month. I'm planning to do a Rocky Horror video in advance of Halloween. Oh, and The Craft. Yes. The Craft. I'm writing all these down. The Craft. Hocus Pocus. Psycho. Death Becomes Her. Opportune says, get Zoom infinitely superior to Skype. Yeah, that very well may be. But the thing is like, for ease of use, Skype is, everybody's got a login for Skype, so I don't have to be like, oh, download this new thing. Get a new login on this new website. So I could just like be, you know, I could tell people, Skype time, everyone. I had a crush on, what's his name? I had a crush on John Gavin, producer of Lair of the White Worm. Wait, what? What is Lair of the White Worm? Dan Ireland had a crush on John Gavin. I don't know who that is. Oh, Heathers. 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 Heathers is a Halloween movie. Child's Play I can go with. Child's Play. Child's Play I can see. Heathers. I don't feel like that's Halloweenish. I feel like that's maybe like June for when like school's getting out. Dan Ireland is the producer of RoboCop. What? That's crazy. So the producer of RoboCop had a crush on John Gavin, huh? John Gavin. Dylan's going on a date. That's very exciting. Try to bat your eyelashes like this. Blink, 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 blink. No, that's not a good move. Not a good move. Explanation of Britt Miller. I'm British. My accent sounds similar to Brit Mila. Mila, the Hebrew word for circumcision. Okay, yeah. Wasn't working for me. I was not going to get that. Lair of the White Worm is by Ken Russell. Made a lot of gay films. I'm totally not familiar with that. Lair of the White Worm, huh? Yikes. Oh, I see. Okay. Is it a vampire movie? Or just... what? This looks like an Obayashi movie. This looks great, based on a Bram Stoker novel by the same name. Drawing upon the English legend of the Lambton worm. The what? Oh, gee. Okay, so something kind of dragon-y. Well, this looks amazing. I can't believe I've never heard of this. Lair of the White. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed now. Thank you for this. A lot of gay slang is derived from. Oh yeah, somebody asked about like the origin of queer. A lot of gay slang is derived from 19th century prostitution slang. Gay used to mean a woman who slept around. Really, I didn't know that. Queen was slang term for a hooker. Huh? How did I not know that? There's so much disagreement about the etymology of queer stuff. Like I did this entire research project recently about the etymology of twink, like where we get the word twink from. Ugh. And best anyone can explain to me is that it comes from sort of mid 20th century. Twink was slang for something that was bright and shiny and new. But there's a lot of like other ideas about where it came from. Like there's a lot of people who are like, oh no, it's from Twinkie, which I think is definitely not true. No, it comes from, what was the other thing? The other thing that people said it came from. Definitely, like, it was leather slang before it was, like, mainstream gay. And the really varied meanings to that. Sometimes twink or Twinkie would mean someone who's receptive in a relationship, or it just meant that they were not a bottom. They were submissive. So sometimes it meant that they were of a certain age. So really hard to pin that one down. Anyway, sorry, I'm like going way off tangent. The Witches. Yes, more Angelica Houston. That's a great one. The Witches. Sid Martin says, I like your videos. Thank you. There's a new one coming out on Monday. Keep your eyes peeled. I've got a Designing Women video coming out on Monday. The Witches. That, honestly, like, might be too scary for me to watch even as an adult. Britt Miller, an American, is Briss, says Nuna Chef. Yes. Kevin John says, a former rent boy, I approve this message. Good. Most twinks are not bright. That's part of their charm. Oh, bless their hearts. No, I've got a lot of lovely, very smart twinks. And they're all lovely. Dylan says, Twinkie, white, flaky, and cream-filled. Here's the thing. There's such a negative association with Twinkie in the queer community, especially the gay community, in the late 70s because of the assassination of Harvey Milk and the Twinkie connection there with Dan White, that it is extremely unlikely that the gay community would have wanted to have anything to do with Twinkie as slang. Also, twink as just mainstream slang for something shiny and bright and new predates that quite a bit. There was a product in the like a hair care product called Twink in the 1960s. There's like a home perm kit. Twink was the name of a lot of baseball teams in the 1940s. So you have like, there's a team called the Hollywood Twinks, and it just meant that they twinkled and they were young and fresh and ready of, and they were full of spunk. So totally innocent. Videodrum says, Designing Women, just rewatched the first season. It's really problematic. Julia shames sex workers. There's a whole weird fat-shaming, fat self-loathing episode. Ooh, that's unfortunate. It, yeah, you know, sometimes your fave is problematic, and things from long ago make you go, yikes! No, thank you. There was something I was looking at recently that did that too, and I can't remember what. Anyway, the episode of Designing Women that I'm talking about is where it's called Suzanne Goes Looking for a Friend, and she meets a lesbian, and she doesn't realize that she's met a lesbian, and then when she figures it out, she's like, oh no! She says it just like that. I think Designing Women team learned as they continued. Yeah, so I don't know the show that well, but I do feel like it changed. I mean, it changed significantly over time as the cast came and went. But it does seem like just the vibe of the show changed. Difficult show to get a hold of for some reason. Like, you could do like Videodrome and get it on DVD, but just not streaming anywhere. Hard to find like a clean version on like torrent sites. Ugh. Sid Martin says the L word is full of that. Oh no. Oh. And Kevin John says, I regard it the same way I regard that artificial insemination episode of Golden Girls. Oh, is that one problematic? I don't remember that one. Yikes. There's a lovely episode where Suzanne is overweight and doesn't want to attend her high school reunion. Yeah, I know that, like, I've forgotten her name. It's not Bella. Why do I think her name is Bella? No, the woman who played Suzanne on Designing Women. Why can't I remember her name? This is going to be some conversation I have with Sonari in a few minutes. Delta Burke. I don't know how I was able to get there, but I did. And now you're there with me. Delta Burke, I know there was a lot of like controversy over her appearance, which sucks that there was, you know, pressure applied to a professional person about like their body, which, ugh. Thank God we're past that as a society. Nunick Jeff says, is there a current term for what used to be a chicken hawk or chicken queen? Daddy, I guess? Kind of, but that's not exactly what daddy means. Like, just because someone's a dad doesn't mean that they're like going after the young boys. So yeah, I don't know. It's not like chicken hawk, I think, was a term that had some like shaming implied with it, and I don't know that shame is still there. Emily wants to know if I saw the new Michael Moore doc. I have not. I feel like that's something I need to like build myself up for because it's going to be upsetting. I really wanted to like the L Words, says Martin, and got pretty into it in my Baby Dyke days, but a lot of times I'd leave episodes feeling icky. Oh, that's so... yeah, that's such a shame. Like, I kind of feel the same way sometimes when I watch Queer as Folk. I'd never loved Queer as Folk, but boy, oh boy, that was a white show. And also, of course, like, Queer as Folk... Queer is right in the name, and yet they just might as well have called it like Gay as Folk, because there was not a lot of women, there was not a lot of other genders, there was not a lot of like, I don't know if bisexuality came up that much, I don't know that trans came up that much. Just is not what we would think of as queer today. Her husband, oh no, Delta Burke's husband, Major Dad, was a Republican in real life. Kevin John says, I just cackled like a witch and upset my housemate. Oh, that's delightful. Happy Halloween. You don't fall in love with you don't fall in love with someone for their politics. But you could certainly fall out of love with someone for their politics. Ladies Journal is specifically looking for good fiction books. Oh, okay. Let's recommend some good fiction, everybody. Yikes. Well, I mean, Giovanni's Room was on my mind earlier because we were talking about other rooms, other voices. Other voices, other rooms? No, I can't remember. Ishan said, could you expand on your opinions of Queer Eye? Oh, well, I mean, in just like a minute or two. So one of my things that I didn't love about Queer Eye is that it felt like they just like glossed over things, or like, boop, we're in and we're solving all your problems, and boop, we're out. And you know, like a lot of reality shows where they find somebody with a strange problem, it feels so exploitative, and Queer Eye felt like really exploitative to me. Like, you know, they just put some window dressing on a problem and left. So yeah, also I've seen some like just politics from guys on the show that I didn't love, so that isn't great. Like, but the thing is like, they're makeover experts. Like, why do we need to worry about their politics? Because they're public figures, that's why. Newton Jeff says, remember Queer as Folk was originally a British show? Yes, back in the day. The Price of Salt, says Sid Martin. Oh, you know, that's been recommended to me, The Price of Salt. The Price of Salt. You know, I'm going to look that up later and be like, The Prince of Salt, I'm not finding it anywhere. It's just that we need to hold people accountable for doing things wrong, says Videodrum. We don't have a problem. Oh, yeah, so you're talking about Delta Burke. I thought you were talking about Queer as Folk. Nope, Queer Eye. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Delta being with him, but celebrities need to be well remembered for, what they represent. Delta's husband was not helpful, telling her, oh no, she's better in the show, and encouraging her to walk out. I mean, I do think she's great. Walk out on this hit show does not sound like great advice. Also, now we know there's a lot of like behind the scenes awfulness happening with Les Moonves, so who knows how much that was a part of it. But blech. Is there a correlation? Libby's Journal says, is there a correlation between stronger correlation between LGBT and BDSM, or do I just run? Yes, I think so. I think there's a correlation between people who are like open to trying new things, and also I think there's a correlation between BDSM and having the feeling that more experimental sexual encounters are helpful for examining sexual problems, is what I'm trying to say. Like that often, not always, not as a rule, but the BDSM community, often those people in that community are there because their sexual needs are unique, and often I think there's an overlap in the Venn diagrams with people who have faced obstacles in life because of their interests or their orientation or their identity or whatever. So I think those things overlap. So that's a short answer to that. The movie Carol is a film. Carol is a film adaptation of the Price, not Prince. Price of Salt. I didn't know that. Still haven't seen Carol. Putting that on the list. Carol. I've only seen the Kate McKinnon parody. Oh, and it's on Netflix. Well, then we'll have to watch that. Oprazine says, I do remember it. Yes, at the end of that Designing Women episode, Suzanne says to her lesbian friend, if we can put a man on the moon, we can put a man on you. It's a good line. It's a funny joke. Also, not a good thing to say to a lesbian. But it's a funny joke. Nunik and Videodrome, welcome to Matt Baum's queer BDSM cabal. Hungry Man says, I watched Tu Wong Fu and was disappointed in how bland it was. Didn't have a problem that the actors are straight in real life, I just found it boring. Tu Wong Fu, very imperfect movie, which is a shame. Yeah. I wish it was better, because there's a lot that I like. There's a lot that I like about Tu Wong Fu. I like the cast. I like how nice it is. I like it just feels like it's very pure of heart. But yeah, it's really devoid of like fun drag. Like they're in drag the whole movie and they only do a number at the beginning and maybe at the end. I don't think they even do a number at the end. So yeah, I'm like, why do you have drag queens if you're not having them lip sync to anything? Which is why I like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. One of the reasons I like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert better. Also, why are they in drag so much? They're like, do it just on a road trip? Can you imagine, those of us who know drag queens, can you imagine being like, okay, we're going on a road trip in full face? And yet, there they are, like, ready to greet the day with, like, fully done up. Okay. And I get, like, okay, we're in, like, a fantasy land, but I don't know. Like, it didn't seem fantasy land enough for that to make sense. Myra Breckenridge, says Cooper. So, I can't speak to the book. Maybe the book is great. The movie is not a movie I would really recommend. There's a cut on YouTube. I think Oprazine, you're the one who pointed this out to me. Or maybe somebody else pointed out to me. There's a cut on YouTube of all of Mae West's appearances. Like, they cut out everything else from Myra Breckenridge and just left the Mae West scenes. And that's worth watching. But I wouldn't recommend the rest of the Myra Breckenbreast. That didn't work. No. Has anyone seen Black Sails? No. I haven't seen that. That sounds interesting. Unkillable Gaze and Unbury Your Gaze. What? I'm putting a star next to that. Black Sails. Tell me more about that. That sounds amazing. Sid says, has anyone seen But I'm a Cheerleader? I wrote a whole paper about it for my film capstone in college. No, I haven't. Oh, no, of course. Yes, of course. I'm a cheerleader. Like, for some reason, I just didn't recognize the name. Yes, not since it came out, starring Natasha Lyonne, of course. So I'm just letting Sonari know that we're ready for him. Novel of Myra is queerer than the movie. The movie is mostly a mess. Yes, it is. I have mixed feelings about Gore Vidal. Gay women love But I'm a Cheerleader. Well, you know, then who am I to tell them not to watch it? I'm nobody. I would never tell them not to watch it. I didn't love it. I thought it had some moments, but I thought it was a little... I mean, for one thing, held together with duct tape and wire, but, like, that's fine. I don't mind that. What was my problem with the film? I think it was just that... Now I'm thinking back, why didn't I love it? I think I just didn't think it was funny. So, like, that's a sad objection to raise for a movie, but yeah, I just didn't think it was funny. Sorry, cheerleaders. Husband works in a marijuana dispensary, so I'm here sampling the wares, says Nunik Jeff. That sounds great. Whoa. How do you, but like, surely you need to like take a lot of time between the samplings, right? Like you sample one, and then depending on how you have sampled it, wait an hour or 4 to be like, next. Like, I don't know how you do like a pot tasting. Hungry Main says, skip Alex Strangelove, one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Advertises a gay movie, but he only has like 5 minutes of actual gayness. Okay, so we watched maybe like the first 10 minutes of Alex Strangelove, and that's another one we had to turn off because I was like, again, the dialogue was just so unbearable. Like, it just, found itself so cute, and nobody, like, it was one of those nobody talks like this movies, which Buffy the Vampire Slayer, nobody talks like Joss Whedon writes, so I get it, but there was nobody talks like this, and it just wasn't clever, I think, is my problem with Alex Strangelove. Like, I was like, nobody talks like this, and I don't take any pleasure in hearing people talk like this. Also, everything with Alex Strangelove, at least in the first 10 minutes, felt like we're getting a whole scene of something that should have been skipped over in summary in a montage, and we're getting a montage of the thing that we actually want to see, and I just found it too frustrating to watch. So anyway, sorry, didn't like Alex Strangelove. What's a good, Love, Simon. Everybody says like good things about Love, Simon. Perks of Being a Wallflower. That's another. It's not like super queer, but it's a movie that's, a book that's got some queer stuff in it that I think is really lovely. So I do recommend Perks of Being a Wallflower. Queer comic books. Any queer comic books I recommend? It's very short. It's like 10 pages. But Josh Trujillo and Levi Hastings have a comic called Independence, I think is the title, about two men in love during the Revolutionary War. So that one just comes to the top of my mind. And of course, Sina Grace, am I getting his name right? Sina Grace, who did the Iceman comics for the whole X-Men storyline. Those are very good. He was a Sewers of Paris guest. Tu Wong Fu confused me before I met real drag queen, says Pika. I thought they all dressed that way 24/7. Oh, no, yeah. Like, the movie would give you that impression, wouldn't it? There'll be a sequel in which Myra goes back in time to 1947. What? Oh, I totally misread that sentence. There is a sequel, a book sequel, in which Myra goes back in time to 1947. What? She goes, still, I read the sentence correctly, and I was still like, I don't believe it. She meets Judy Garland, says, stop taking all those pills or you'll be dead in 22 years. Thanks, Myra. What a weird gore. What a weirdo. Black Sails is a period piece of the golden age of piracy in 1715. What? That sounds amazing. Is it about gay pirates in 1700s? Whoa, that sounds great. Featuring 4 canon women who love women and 2 canon men who love men. Oh, that sounds crazy good. Oh my God. I've already started. Now I'm underlining it. Just like Devin Green does. I've even had to underline it. Whoa, I like the production design. Wait, Sid Martin says of which one? There's lots of symbolism. Of which? But I'm a cheerleader. Yeah. Oh, okay. It has very cute production design. It's true. Tomer says that's the topic of a paper I'm writing. Why there are so many road trips in 90s queer cinema. That's an interesting topic. And not something I've thought about. Tomer, tell me more about that. Tell me about other queer road trip movies in 90s queer cinema. Because obviously Priscilla was the big one that, like, maybe everyone was like, oh, we got to make our Priscilla now. But what else, other than Priscilla and Tu Wong Fu, what else do we have? The plot is entirely, Dennett says, the plot is entirely driven by the main character, gay man's life, having been decimated by homophobia. On Black Sails. Oh my God, that sounds incredible. Hungry Man says, I've heard of But I'm a Cheerleader from the documentary called This Film Is Not Yet Rated. Second half is about the MPA bias on LGBT movies. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was like many years ago, like 15 years ago. That doc came out, is about the MPAA. I should watch that. I remember the controversy when the doc came out, and I don't think I ever actually saw it, but it's a documentary about how the MPAA was like, great, among other things, grading down or grading up or like giving things like more restrictive ratings that had queer content. In addition to a whole bunch of other stuff, like how arbitrary those ratings are. He's vindicated every turn and ends up happy. Oh my God. Queer story, queer historical novel, or movie, or was it a movie or a novel? That ends up happy. That sounds great. Saw a trailer for Call Me By Your Name 2. That seems like it's not true, but maybe. Call Me By Your Name 2? No? Real? Wait. Yeah, apparently, everyone who's involved, not everyone, people who are involved say that it will happen. Okay. The trailer's probably not real, but because it's like literally was just announced a few months ago. But, weird. Not something I would have expected, but I mean, it was popular, so okay. I'm just going to give Sonari a nudge and see where he's at. Hey there. Ready to go? I hope he's okay. So I've just been nudging Sonari to see if he's ready to join us. I don't know where he is, but the Skypes are going, and I sent him a message, and hopefully he's going to be popping in. He did definitely confirm, so... Road Trip and other quest movies are metaphors for the interior journey to find one's... Oh! Yeah, sure. Yes, Tomer. Road Trip and other quest movies are metaphors for the interior journey to find oneself. Okay, I just got an OMG from Sonari. He might be joining us. We'll see. We'll find out. Film's Not Yet Rated is an interesting documentary. It might be slightly outdated. Oh, yeah, it might be outdated. Still worth a watch. Yeah, Mr. Debacle, I do think Call Me By Your Name 2 was scheduled. Apparently, yeah, it's a thing according to the internet. Oh, and Black Sail's a TV series, 4 seasons, gorgeous. How have I never heard of that? That's amazing. Okay, let's look it up right now because we're just talking about Black Sails. An American historical adventure series set on New Providence Island, a prequel to Treasure Island. What? On Stars, debuted for free on YouTube, 2014. 10 episodes, second season, positive fan reaction, blah, 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 production, reception, accolades, yes, yes, yes. Okay, I don't know what's... When do we... Okay. Okay, so he's downloading Skype right now, is what I'm told. I'm just letting him know. Okay, no problem. I'll dial you in when you're ready. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, Private Idaho. Yeah, okay, sure. Other quest movies, yeah, metaphors for the interior journey. But, like, why the 90s? Why did that happen in the 90s? My Own Private Idaho and The Living End. Wait, The Living End? Oh, yeah, no, you're totally right. Yes. I was thinking of a different Greg Araki movie. The Living End. Not the Australian punk band. Where's the movie? That is a Greg Araki movie, right? Yeah. I'm thinking, which one am I thinking about? I'm thinking of Nowhere, maybe? That, which also, wait, is The Living End the one? No, this is not the one I'm thinking of. What's the other movie that I'm thinking of that has Parker Posey in it at one point? Mysterious, no, definitely not Mysterious Skin. Long Weekend, Living End, Totally Fucked Up. Is that the one I'm thinking of? No. Oh, Doom Generation. That's it. Doom Generation. No, it's kind of road trippy. I would consider that a road trip movie. Yeah. Video Drum says Greg Araki is one of my favorite directors. I find him a bit, for me, hit or miss because I think part of like the reason that I find it difficult to stick with the Greg Araki film is like it could get really depressing for me and it just like emotionally wears on me. So that's also a great B-52 song. Private Idaho. Oh, so Tomer says it's about criminality, freedom of the roads, and getting away from the city to create new queer space. Yeah, the 90s, I mean, that's always been the queer thing. But I do think you're right that, like, the 90s might have been a time when there was more let's get out of here sort of vibe in queer cinema. Maybe if I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. 90s was all about road trips. Was it? I do, like, maybe I'm sort of, like, blind to that, having been a teenager in the 90s. Yeah, I'm just thinking that through. But, like, road trip movies have always been a thing. Like, you know, Easy Rider wasn't the 90s. What's your opinion on the movie The Deep End with Tilda Swinton? I mean, I'm in favor of anything with Tilda Swinton, but I don't think I know. Which one is The Deep End? The Deep End, Tilda. Oh, I totally don't know this movie. I was thinking of... There's some shark movie, but I don't think that's what this is. What was about? Upper class life, sexual affair, boathouse. Okay, yeah, murder. This is definitely not the shark adventure movie that I was thinking of. I don't know what that is. The Deep End, huh? I'm not familiar with that one. Oprazine says, any movie with Parker Posey is worth seeing again. Yeah, you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday about good bad movies and what makes a bad movie a good bad movie versus just a bad movie. And the thing that really sells it for me is when a movie rewards multiple viewings. A movie can be terrible, but you can enjoy watching it multiple times. Like, for example, The Apple or Barbarella or, I don't know, The Drifting Classroom. House, of course. That, like, I wouldn't call... I hesitate to even use the term bad to describe them as Xanadu. Movies that you're just like, I gotta see some more of this, versus something like At Long Last Love, where, like, not even through the first viewing, you're like, when am I getting out of here? Myra Breckenridge, like, not even through the first viewing, you're like, can I just have a supercut of the Mae West scenes? Kevin John says, we're discussing Tu Wong Fu and Priscilla. Girls Will Be Girls. Yes, that is, you know, it's one that, like, it's from such a different time. Girls Will Be Girls. Like, I want to say 2001, maybe? It was from, you know, like, they literally had to shoot it on film in those days. A movie like that you would never get anywhere close to a film strip nowadays. Videodrome didn't like Girls Will Be Girls. I honestly like, there's the same director, Richard Day, who has been on my podcast, The Sewers of Paris, did not a follow-up, but he did another movie called Straight Jacket, not the Joan Crawford movie, a different one called Straight, S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, not S-T-R-A-I-T Jacket. Anyway, so he did a movie called Straight Jacket that I think is better, but less remembered. But I think it is a better film. What are we saying? Little Miss Sunshine counts as a queer road trip movie. I don't think the queer is really foregrounded in that one, so you could make the case, but Boys on the Side, haven't seen that one. How is Boys on the Side? Thelma and Louise, not queer per se, but you know. I think Thelma and Louise is more queer than Little Miss Sunshine. I would buy, Opposite says, I would buy the DVD of a shark movie with Tilda Swinton. She plays the shark. That's the twist. Tilda's son is gay and his older lover was killed. Blah. Why did I say that like a vampire? I don't know. Finding oneself is an interesting point, considering those were films not about coming out or self-acceptance, but finding love, though neither film ends with that happening. I'll have to think. Finding oneself. Yeah, not about coming out or self-accepting, but finding love. They're about finding love, though neither film ends with that happening. Yeah, Tomer, I'll have to think as well, which is not fun to watch somebody do on a live stream. Here's the live stream. It's just me, like, pensively stroking my beard in silence. Tomer says, the early 90s was also the height of Queer Nation. Yes. 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 Did that contribute to road tripping? I loved Xanadu, says Abertrax. Videodrome loves Xanadu. A lot of love for Xanadu. Glad to hear that. It is so good, you guys. If you have not seen Xanadu, for heaven's sake, what are you waiting for? See Xanadu. It is lush and dumb and... I was about to rhyme that in a way that was obscene. It is lush and dumb and just such a pleasure. It is so stupid and so giddy and so happy to be a movie. There's a mashup in the middle of like a 40s song and an 80s song. It was a good idea, but the way that's actually staged feels like the two songs not so much are like getting mashed up as they are like accidentally crashing together during an earthquake. It's a disaster. William Castle directed it. Wait, Oh, Straight Jacket with Joan Crawford. Oh, William Castle directed that, not Thelma and Louise, which is what I thought you were saying. William Castle directed Thelma and Louise? Transition is great. Says, I hated Xanadu, but there's a good soundtrack. I mean, if nothing else, yes, good soundtrack. I've never seen a drag queen lip sync to anything from Xanadu. That should happen. Varla is wonderful and I adore Coco Peru, but the script is wow, says Kevin Sean. Yeah, Girls Will Be Girls. There's some good bits in there. There's some good ones. There's some good ones. Thelma and Louise. Yes, Daniel. Oh, Straight Jacket. I'm just gonna put on my list. Straight Jacket. Almost misspelled that. And first, I almost misspelled straight, and then I misspelled jacket. Great. So, hooray for my brain. What is Queer Nation, says Sid Martin? I mean, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But, like, the thing I think that Tomer was talking about is, like, it was an actual, like, queer liberation movement. Queer Nation. Let's see how Wikipedia describes it. Yeah, so LGBT activist organization founded in March 1990, New York City, by activists from ACT UP. 4 founders were outraged at the escalation of anti-gay and lesbian violence, known for its confrontational tactics, slogans, and practice of outing. So it was a very, I would not say militant, because I would call it the traditional way that we would think of militant, yes. But I think Queer Nation itself would probably resist that description. Anyway, yeah, so they, like, were really in-your-face queer activists. Maybe gay road tripping in the 90s was popular, says Micah, because it was spinning out of gays moving to New York to be club kids. Like, I think there was... But here's the thing. Like, I'm definitely willing to entertain that idea. That having been said, queer kids were definitely moving to New York to be club kids in the 80s. Like, the gays have always been moving to cities. That's just what we do. Not all of us. It's what many of us do. So I don't know that anything special was happening in the 90s. And also, Priscilla and Tu Wong Fu are specifically about leaving a city. Given the choice of films, I would take, Can't Stop the Music over Xanadu? Oprazine, I wonder if that's, like, what is your relationship with those films? Like, where did you see them initially? Did you see both of those in theaters? Because I feel like Can't Stop the Music probably came along at a time when you were really ready for that movie. And I wonder if Xanadu might have come along just after you were ready for it. Because most of the people I know who love Xanadu, who were alive when it came out, saw it when they were, like, 14. Which I think is, like, the right age to see Xanadu as a young queer. Sid says, I was born in 96, so I'm still new. That's okay. There's always plenty of time to learn. The other great thing was that Xanadu was quite short, and you can see it and then just go next door and see Act 2 of Gypsy. That's great. Tyler says, what about Latter Days? Is that 90s? Just after the 90s, I think. And again, I don't think I'd call it a road trip because they mostly just stay in LA, right? If your woman's kind of my transfer and thinks it's hugely homophobic. Oh no, High Tension? Or which one? High Tension. Oh, wait, is that the Mel Brooks movie? Yeah, so Mel Brooks not always great with LGBT. Like, I think he's really funny, but yeah, not always so good with the queer stuff. Emily says, did you see the latest Life of Bert and Ernie? I mean, do you mean like just what was happening on Twitter with people being excited about them being gay? Abertrax Sound Xanadu. Musing. Oh, you. So I'm just going to give Sonari a little nudge. Make sure, let me know when you're good to go. Micah says, oh, the 90s had all those talk shows showing off the club kid lifestyle. Yeah. A lot of that stuff happened in the 80s. The 90s, I think, is when mainstream, like, noticed that it was happening because it was kind of, like, over. It was kind of getting over at that point. It wasn't over. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of, like, talking out of a question mark right now because, like, I wasn't a part of that whole scene. Ishan says, and let me know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, gay road trips are definitely still an idealized thing. Many of my fellow youths want to take them along California or to New York. I do like a gay road trip. I find it very fun and would definitely enjoy. James and I have done a couple of them, and I like it. I like getting in the car and driving with James. It is a nice experience to go on a little adventure with somebody that you like. I would definitely enjoy doing it with multiple gays that I like. But, oh, good gravy. Okay, here we go. Here he comes. There we go. Hello.
Hello, Matt.
Yay, there you are. Yes, we've got you. I'm just going to switch you over to the main screen so other folks can see you. It's Sonari Glinton, everybody. Hello. Oh, and I think we might have lost you because I cannot hear you or see you anymore. Womp womp. Oh dear. I think we might have had some bandwidth problems. Not sure if you can still hear me or not. Request is accepted. So we're just going to try that again. And for some reason, let's see, online, let's try that again. Sorry, lost my place in the chat. What do you think of Blazing Saddles? Good. Oh, high anxiety, not high tension. Whoops. Once again, thinking of exactly the wrong thing. Yeah, so Blazing Saddles, sure, pretty good. Why not? I like anything with Madeline Kahn, so yeah. Opera Zine saw both in theaters. Xander seems sort of too earnest for me. That's why I like it. Can't Stop was so amusingly clunky. All right, let's try this again. Hello.
All right, Matt, can you hear me now?
Yes, there
Yes.
you go. I think we've got you now.
I'm sorry.
Not a problem.
You do have me.
Yes. It's a little hitchy, so if you can get like closer to your router, that might be helpful, but we do definitely have you.
Okay, where's the router, Karen? So I am so I'm sorry. I was hanging out with my friends Karen Bates and Bruce Tallman, and they which is really cool. So you can begin because did it drop out? No, it didn't drop out. There's Karen, but I'm not going to put her on because he hadn't warned her yet.
No problem.
But so go ahead.
But hi, Sonari Glinton, everybody, special guest. Thanks for making time to chat with us. We've been going over like a whole litany of the books and movies and TV and stuff that we've been enjoying. And now you are going to be going to see Tony Bennett tonight, as I recall.
Well, you know, it turns out I was wrong about that. The concert is on December 7th. I don't know what made me think that, but so it changed my whole plans. But yeah, but I'm doing something almost as cool. Like I said, I'm hanging out with Bruce. But so you can see, like, look at there, like. All right.
It just got a little hitchy again. So we lost you. We lost you for a second, just as you were like, look over there.
Okay.
Okay. Now I think you're. Oh no, and you're gone.
Do you see it now? I can see it. Do you see
it? Oh
this?
yeah. So what do we have?
Okay, that is Isaac Hayes, the great saxophonist. Do you remember him from? He would have written, what was it? Shaft. That's what he wrote. Isaac Hayes wrote Shaft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the like one of the great R&B writers, and that was my friend's first professional photograph. So it was perfect for pop culture.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go outside. So I don't bother them.
Okay.
They're great, but I think it's closer to the router, so you can see me in beautiful like California sunshine.
Yeah,
Is
you're
this
definitely
better?
yes, you're definitely coming through a lot clearer now.
All right. Yeah. So I think I'm like feet away from the router. I'm just outside.
Beautiful.
So tell me how this goes, and you know what? I'm gonna go down to the little patio here. This is what's great about California. With this little water feature, it's beautiful in their beautiful house in View Park, LA. I can see downtown Los Angeles from here, but I won't switch the camera. So,
that does sound nice. Kevin Sean says you're going out on the lanai.
I am out on Lanai, and I'm not that far away from the original house where the Golden Girls was
Really?
filmed.
For some
Yes.
reason, I just
So
assumed it was in Florida.
Well, now it's in Florida because they built it on the set of Disney World somewhere. But there's an original house which they built on there's original house which is in a neighborhood it's in Brentwood, very near to the Getty Museum. For those of you who know anything about LA, you can just like ride around. It's exactly the way you imagined it in the Golden Girls house.
Wow.
Though the way they have it laid out in real life, I mean, on the show could not exist in real life, as you know.
Sure. Yeah. I think it would be like incredibly strange to be in like the living room or the kitchen and see like the fourth wall that we never actually see on the show.
Yes. So what are we going to talk about?
So that is largely up to you. Usually when I have a guest on, we talk about the stuff that you're just obsessed with right now, or just the stuff that you're watching or listening to.
We can do that. Oh my God! Then we're in the best place because, like I said, my friend Bruce is an amazing photographer. So what if I got one of his books to look at? Because since I'm obsessed with that, so I'm gonna go and get one.
Okay.
Hey Bruce.
Yeah.
Can I borrow a book to look at? I'm obsessed with this, which is which is Bruce's book about R&B.
Okay.
We'll see it here. There, you see that?
Yep. Soul and Funk, I think was the title.
Soul,
R&B, Funk.
R&B, and Funk. Oops, as I use my hand to close the door. But this book just came out a couple of days ago, and we can go outside and look at it. I'm genuinely obsessed with it because I'm at the house of my friend who wrote it, and if we look at it, you can see this blurred copy of Stevie Wonder. And so I look as I go through the book. This is one of the first all black books made by Taschen. And you can see some of like this is Bruce Talman, how you spell it. And some of my favorite photos. Look at how beautiful that is.
That is so vibrant.
Right. And it is these amazing things. Like even this photo, I don't even have to look at the captions. This is Al Green giving flowers to the audience. Look at that.
Oh, that's so lovely. Gosh. And the hands reaching up.
Yeah. And so when we go through, what I'm interested in is this point that I'm at, Al Green again. It's hilarious. This is great. This is Marvin Gaye in his short shorts, playing basketball with his homies. Look at that.
Wow.
And these are all photos that Bruce took. This is Marvin playing the piano. We forget that Marvin Gaye was a great pianist. But as we go through, let's go, because this is we have Gaye fans. Let's go to where the Ron Isley. Look at this sister right here. Look at that outfit. I just want to look at her hair and the look at her face, right? It's just so, oops.
And the hat, for goodness sake, that hat.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get back to the book.
Sid Martin in the chat is asking,
a little glitchy there.
Is this mostly the 70s?
So the theme is 72 to 82. And my buddy Bruce worked for this company called Soul Magazine, and it was one of the few soul magazines owned by African Americans. I'm going to find. Look at this. This is who do you think that is? Look at that photo.
That looks like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, this is, and so my buddy who's inside the house, he was at all these Smokey Robinson. He was at all of these moments. Let me see if I just want to find. Let me get some of the divas. When you see some of these photos of these people, and what I find interesting is that Bruce does a lot of what I do, which is storytelling. He just does it with photos, and I do it with 76. So I'm going to go to Minnie Riperton. This is Maya Rudolph's mother.
Wow! Right? Oh my gosh!
So when I say I'm obsessed with this book, this is I go through parties and I've been showing this to folks. Here's a great one. This is Patti LaBelle. Look at her.
Yeah. Gosh.
And LaBelle at an airport, right? this is Mavis Staples. She's one of my favorite singers. Look at that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then here's a great one,
Oh my goodness. Like,
right?
oh gosh, just that look in her, you know, it's so interesting is like, this is a million miles away from what the subject of the book is, but like that look that she's giving the camera is so similar to a look that Carrie Fisher often has in photographs.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I often think not to be like, or not to talk about race, but like feel like when the photographer sees the artist as a full human being,
Mm-hmm.
you get these photos. A
Mm-hmm.
white dude who believed that Carrie Fisher was a full-on human being and not just some artist screaming into a microphone or whatever. You're going to get the intimate when you see the person, when you can relate to them.
Mm.
And I think that that's what's great about a book like this and artists like this, is because like this is Aretha doing the thing that Bruce says he doesn't like, which is having someone screaming into the microphone, right? To me, it's the intimacy of this photo is
Yeah.
that she's looking directly into his eyes. I'm going to show you a couple of more. So he tells me he's going to give me one of my favorite photos. So I'm going to skip past a few and show you one that I love. You see this face?
Oh yeah.
So as a gift to me, he's given me one of the Diana ones.
Yeah. Gosh.
Hold on one second. And yeah, can you still see?
Yep. Yep.
Or okay,
Like it's
So,
beautiful. Like
this
she's
is
just
Diana
surrounded. Oh wow, look at that look. These are such amazing captures. Like given like what he would have been shooting with at the time, like so hard to
Yeah,
like
this is what.
to capture
look
these
at
on
this.
film. Then
Yeah, and what I love is I'm going to skip to there is a. There's so many, like I say, you can go through, and these are the ones. This is his first national cover with Donna Summer.
Mhm.
Like this is how he got started. He did this, Donna. Look at how this is her from 1977,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
This is at the height of her fame,
Mm-hmm.
and this young brother comes in, and he was ready to go. Like the session was supposed to start at 3, and he was ready and set up at 12:30, and she was only supposed to give him 20 minutes.
Wow.
And she gave him 2 hours. And later, when they asked her if she had a photographer, she said, "Yeah, I'm with Bruce." And that was the only time they were together. This is another one that I love. Is like MJ, like literally could not wait to get his photo taken because he was in such. Like they were so happy because they had a new record company,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, this is. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to look at the baby boy,
Yeah.
Star Child actually, or Diaper Man is what they call this guy.
I'm not familiar with him.
It's Parliament and Funkadelic. He
Oh,
was like one
okay.
of the players, right? And you see, like, this is what's great. It's like it's soul, R&B, and funk. I mean, look at these folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their hair, their outfits. Like I say, when I say obsessed, Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is. Oh, here's one of my favorite ones. Look at this. Look at this brother.
Yeah.
Look at the the juice bottle, and look at that hat.
I know.
Man, look at that.
Yeah. I mean the plaid, like
Like,
everything
and
about that.
The color in the tie. Like you've got to look at this.
Oh,
tie,
yeah.
right. And so what I feel like is we know this music, and we see photos like this of the Rolling Stones, of the Beatles, but we don't see it of black artists. I love this one, right?
Oh man,
Right.
that's great. Those are some tight pants.
Sylvester.
Oh, I was gonna ask, is there any Sylvester in there? I'm so glad to see him.
Like that,
Yeah.
right? Like this is, and then of course Shaka,
Mm-hmm.
who even a gay man like me, like Stevie,
Mm-hmm.
just getting it going. But like what I've been really, really super like amazed by, and so this I'm gonna like maybe close the book and we can look at me after I've shown you what is one of my favorite groups of pictures. I'm gonna flip the page. This is Shaka Khan and all of her beauty,
Mhm.
right? And then if I turn, there she is again. But here's the
Wow.
one that gets. Look at. This is a young Shaka Khan, right?
Wow.
And then what I love is Bruce included the contact sheet
Yeah.
where it shows all of her, right? You can see her C-section score.
Wow.
Right there, right? And that's the full-on, and this shows like what he chose over what he didn't choose, right? You can see like, oh, that's a good one. but maybe
Yeah.
not that one. Like you
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
process. So what I'm really sort of interested in right now is, you see me now. Okay.
We're just
What I'm
flipping
interested
back. There you go.
about this book, and okay, what I find interesting about this book is, like I said, this is like one of my friends. I hang out with them on Saturdays, and I happen to be here, and we went out to lunch, and it's like I knew that he was a great photographer. I knew that there was stuff like this,
Mm-hmm.
but to see it all physically in one place,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like think of like, and it's also like it makes me think of my art and whatnot, but in the world, and we're living in a post Aretha Franklin society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about that, I think her death made me realize how valuable the music, the artistry, and all of those things were. And luckily enough for me, a buddy of mine came out with a book. Like, I wouldn't be hawking a book if it was just some random one. But when you look at those photos, right, and how I mean, like, this is like a couple hundred pages long, right? It's like, it's like 350 or so pages,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's full of photographs of like artists. And I found myself being drawn back to that time because this week, another thing happened. This week was a party for Quincy Jones, who turned 85. And they had all these artists, and like sort of remembering R&B is like right at the forefront of my brain, because like I said, if you were the Rolling Stones, you had Rolling Stone magazine that cared about you, that hired white photographers to photograph white musicians.
Mm-hmm.
But there weren't the same things for black artists, which is why you don't see a cover like that of Stevie Wonder. You don't see all these behind the scenes and creative parts. Like I feel like photographers looked at R&B and funk people and thought that like they woke up so they could that they woke up and were, people talk. She woke up being able to sing. Not that she taught herself how to play the piano. Not that she had a yeoman period of like decades, where she was a church singer at 11, 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that books like this and the death of someone like Aretha shows not that the work behind the artistry is like black folks don't just like wake up singing, right? It's like, Whitney Houston wasn't born with that voice. She was a professional singer. She was like 12,
Right. Right.
That's, and the work and the effort that went into that. So anyway, that's my long ramble.
I
That
love
is
how like
what
the book really like seems to show like the work that goes into it, like what you're just saying, like how intensely like these people in the book like were living the art that they were creating.
Yeah, and you see them, and that's what I think is interesting about things like this is you see them. As you're writing, like as I'm doing this, I'm looking for a photo that's a good example, and I see it right here, which is this, right? This is this writing a score for Stevie Wonder, and then you see him writing more with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's Rashida Jones's parents, y'all.
Of course.
And this is him with George Duke, his producing buddy, right? You don't see any of the performance. You see all the stuff that goes behind it. And then you turn the page, and there is Quincy with Stevie on stage. Look at how,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, I just was thinking in all these photos, it never occurred to me that Stevie was cute. And he's
Mm-hmm.
cute to me.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yes, like just the attitude. There's so much attitude there. Oh my God, look at that.
Right? And it's just like, this is the, like, cool. Look at the outfit, bro.
I know. Oh my God, the hat and those cuffs.
Yeah, look at the detail.
Yeah.
One of the things I found out is I've been obsessed with the guy who designed all of this work,
Mm-hmm.
and his name is Bill Whitten.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we designed for Neil Diamond.
Wait, say that again. We lost you for a second.
He designed for Neil.
Okay.
He designed for Neil Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, black guy, Bill Whitten, had a shop in Melrose Place, and Neil Diamond walked in and was like, "Can you give me a custom shirt?" And then after Neil Diamond, everybody came in looking for his threads,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he did Michael Jackson's Glove. He did LaBelle. He did Earth, Wind, and Fire. All these great, that beating, that custom work.
Mm-hmm.
And so there wasn't anything for rock stars. So literally, he opened what are the equivalent of a store for frontmen. Isn't it incredible?
Yeah. Like, you need all eyes on you, so let me make you look good.
Yeah, and he died in the early 2000s. But like I said, the glove, the glittery gloves, like, think about how much that means. Those glittery half socks that MJ used to wear.
Yeah.
That was him. And the beaded jackets that Neil Diamond wears, right? That's where that comes from. He was like the Bob Mackie for dudes. That's the way to think of it, right?
Oh,
if Bob Mackie designed for Cher and Tina Turner and and all those people, right? Not so that was Halston. But if he designed for all those people, Bill Witten designed for Elton John and Earth, Wind, and Fire and Michael Jackson and all of these people with the beading work. I'll find a photo, which luckily I just switched to, which like gives it all. Do you see that?
No, it's still the other camera.
Okay, hold on.
There we go.
See,
wow, yeah.
And so when you go close and you look at, I'm just showing you just like the up close detail that you can see, right? And you move and like, oh, that's another guy fit. And you just look at these, look at this detail.
Mm.
I mean, like hand sewn, hand beaded, right? I like, to me, it's not the performance, because we can see the performances, right? It's all, like you said, it's all the stuff that goes beyond the performance. So anyway, like, that is, if you're going to be obsessed with anything, for me, it started with Aretha Franklin's death was meaningful because she was my favorite singer of all time, right?
Right.
And then you realize that she's just one of the things that her life. I didn't watch the funeral or any of those things. I've just been reading and thinking about her because she's super important. And you think, as a gay man or as whoever, what lesson do I get out of these R&B folks, right? What lesson do I get out of Aretha? And for me, the lesson I get is she wasn't successful until she became more truly herself, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
When she sat down at the piano and stopped listening to other people.
When you look at like her earlier stuff, like her earlier work, like, is there like a clear dividing line between when she was like taking notes from other people and trying to like fit herself into a box versus when she's just like, no, here's me?
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. She used to work for this company called Columbia Records, which is huge, right? That was the record company of Barbra Streisand.
Right.
It was the record company of Dylan. All the like huge acts. But it was establishment. It was the real thing. And she was doing her hit song. One of her hit songs was "Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie Melody." Think about that. "Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie Melody." That was Aretha Franklin's hit before "Respect," right?
Yeah.
Like,
which one do we remember?
Yeah, which one do you remember? Do you remember the one where she? And the other thing that I think about Aretha is, and what this book makes you realize, and other books like this, and thinking about this is the artistry was masterful. It was trained and thought of and thoughtful. She wrote, like, the thing that is great about Respect is she wrote the arrangement, right? She wrote the chords, to think. You hear think, like, it's not just her voice, that's her accompanying herself behind that, right?
Right.
This is a self-taught pianist who almost everyone believes is one of the greatest accompanists that there is. And that's what I'm saying is, like, with brown people, we see the artistry, but we don't necessarily often recognize the hard work and the thoughtfulness that goes behind it. If you think that Aretha Franklin is a great artist, you think of her often as, oh yeah, she's a great singer, and that's just natural bullshit, right? It's as if, I'm trying to think, if Beyonce, or I'm trying to think of someone, like, there are very few people who are like that. If a virtuoso on the instrument, right? A virtuoso singer, and then it's like she's Prince. Like, we don't think of her as being Prince, right? We don't think of her as being Prince. We don't think of her as being a songwriter, a composer, and an arranger, right?
Yeah.
You only hear Aretha Franklin. You might think of her sitting down at the piano. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm learning as, like I said, my buddy, hung out with these folks for, a decade. And you realize how hard it was for them to do this. And I think that that's, as these folks turn 70 and 75 and 80 and leave the earth, I think now is like the time to like recognize, like, man, they are super, super awesome.
Yeah. They worked incredibly hard.
Yeah, and that there's something about their work, whether you're black or white or gay or straight or whatever, that translates into the work and to our own lives, right? Be true to yourself, like all those things. Now I'm worried about my timing on my phone. Like I think because I had to rush to do this, I have to go find a charger or something like that. So.
No worries.
How much longer do we have?
So we usually go until like 4-ish. If you got to go, that's it's no problem at all. But like, thank you so much for sharing this stuff. Cause like, and people in the chat want to know like where they can get that book.
Okay. So, hold on. I hope my speaker went out, but, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello. Okay. It's a Taschen book. So Taschen as in, Taschen.
Yep, just putting that in the chat there.
There.
Yep.
So Taschen is the name of the book. It's one of those big coffee table books that you can get almost anywhere.
Right.
And hold on, let me see if I can find a charger, so I don't have to like end automatically. Maybe I can get the man to talk to me for a little bit. Hold on a second. Hey, Bruce, do you have a charger by any chance?
I think I have something that might work.
I love that we're just getting to like accompany you as you go about your afternoon.
Yeah, it's right here.
But I mean, let me see if this.
That'll fit. That's the iPhone one, right?
That's for the iPhone.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Right in the next to the right. No, to the right.
Okay. Yes, I do. All right. So, yeah, you guys see me?
It's a little chuggy. It looks. I think we still got you though.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. I'm going to take these headphones off.
Okay.
But can you hear me still? I don't have I can't tell if.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so that's it's funny because like I'm looking, if you look over, this is what a photographer's house looks like. It's hilarious. You see, that's like all of those are photography books, right? With like all of his friends, Herman Leonard, Arthur L. Gort, Ed Templeton. But yeah, it's funny because I've often thought that, you would think that one of the things that I learned in public radio was that audio folks are almost always photography folks.
Really?
And
that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's like so many of the audio engineers that I work with were great photographers. Because it's like storytelling is storytelling, right?
Sure.
If the same thing that gets me to warm up somebody to do an interview is also the same thing that gets them warmed up to.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I never really thought about that, but you're right. Yeah, because I've done both kinds of work. And yeah, you do the same sort of like, just tell me about your day and we'll get into it. And like, asking a few little questions and a little bit of, showing that you care about what the person does. I mean, that's really the big thing, like showing that you care about whoever you're interviewing or photographing. And then you get the good shot or you get the good tape.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's the choices. I mean, it's like that's what a lot of journalism is, or storytelling is. It's not what you don't show, it's not what you do show, it's what you don't show, right?
Mhm.
It's not, and in many ways, it's like it's not the photograph you took, it's all the ones you took that you didn't choose. It's all the hours of tape you did that you gathered, and you chose the best thing, right?
Mhm.
You chose the moment. That's what makes, I think, a radio reporter or a radio storyteller interesting. Is like, I can listen to the same press conference as you do, right? But will we pick the same soundbite? Now, often we do, but I think that it's special when you choose that one photo, that one like soundbite,
Right.
like that. And it's the same. It's like, I've noticed it when, going through hundreds of photos and you're like, that's the one. Or listening to hours and hours of an interview and you're like, oh, only 8 seconds of that is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. So you said like a lot of radio people are photo people. How much photography have you done?
I'm definitely, I would call myself an amateur. I was lucky enough to be trained by the late David Gilkey, who was one of NPR's photographers. And it's funny, I came over to give Bruce a photo that I'd taken of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ballsy man who gives a photographer a photograph.
Yeah.
But I love taking pictures of people more so than things, though I've been like doing it with cars. I have I ended up taking, it turns out, thousands of photos of my colleagues. I didn't really have an outlet for. And now that I don't work there anymore, and I've been looking at my archives and stuff like that, I did take some moments that were kind of awesome. So like I often, not just with my iPhone, but with a fancy, NPR camera, when Bill Gates came in, or the CEO of, the former CEO of Google, or Michael Chabon stopping by, or, like, I was really fascinated by the behind the scenes because so many crazy things would happen. This producer running to the White House, so I have a bunch of those. Ari Shapiro and I dressed him almost, both of us dressed in black and white, but like almost wearing the opposites. Me wearing black shoes, him wearing white shoes. Like it was like one day. Like it's those photos, and I find that I've often taken photos when I didn't want to turn on my microphone. And it's usually when I don't feel comfortable, because if I feel comfortable, I'll turn on my mic and ask people questions.
Sure.
But when I'm trying to survey a thing and I don't feel comfortable, I've tended to take photos. And like, it's interesting because some of those pictures are much better than the radio stories, or sometimes they're not the radio story. I was on the Hill when Capitol Hill, when Trayvon Martin's parents came, and there was a group of students who happened to be there, and I saw them interact with John Lewis, right? And I have great photos of that. And so there are all these moments, or photos of athletes getting ready when I was at the Olympics. That's the thing that I'm sort of coming to grips with after having left a big news organization, is like, oh my goodness, I did interesting things. And I have this archive of photos, not just of audio, because I have thousands of hours of everything from Barack Obama at a rally when he was a state senator, to me interviewing a woman at Paramount. And so anyway, I've been thinking a lot about we are artists or reporters or journalists. Like, where's the dividing line between a photographer and an audio reporter, or a movie director and a radio producer?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're creating something. You've got some meaning to get across.
Yeah. And so like, as I think about that, like the way I used to think of it is, this will get to your nerdy self, but let's say I'm Voltron.
Mm-hmm. Please, yes.
And because one of the things I did when I left NPR was to binge on, I think it's 7 seasons of that. I watched 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially one sitting. But each of the lions has another skill. and and if Voltron is supposed to be the defender of the universe, you need a lot of different skills. You need empathy, you need this, you need that, to be the defender of the universe, right? That's the analogy I would make. And so over the last 20 something years, I've been forming my own Voltron, right? Learning how to do audio,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take photos, writing, those are three, that's an arm, a leg, and whatever on the Voltron next, right? And the way that I think of it now is, instead of separating those and only choosing journalism or only choosing writing, is like the whole point of me doing this was to fight crime, right? If I was, I wanted to be Batman, I wanted to be, a superhero or whatever. And so now I think it's about time. I'm 44 years old. Donald Trump's the president. It's time to start really doing some real stuff, right? And you can't do it if I think you're just looking at the one thing,
Mm-hmm.
deadline journalism, right? Or even if you're just looking at the great story, it's like, what's the arc of all of this work that I'm doing, right? Where is this headed towards? What is this aimed at, right? And I think that's sort of, if it, as someone who makes things that approximate art, that's what, like, say, Bruce's book makes me think of. Like, what was all this about, right? Why did I sacrifice all of this? Why did I push this ball up the hill? What am I trying to attack? And that's kind of the questions that I'm asking myself right now.
Those are big questions, and most people don't have answers to that. Do you feel like you're getting close to, like, being able to answer like, what was it all for? Like, what do I want to give the world? Why am I pushing that ball?
Well, what it is what I think is that to get, and this is something as a gay reporter, as a gay person, is like to give yourself permission to do things that you might not have done before.
Mm-hmm.
If you were, just use this as an example, if you were timid about your sexuality or something like that, you might not be at the front of the line to lead something. You don't want to, like, we all know this, we get good grades, we want to, it's the good gay man syndrome. We don't want to stick out. And now I think it's like, I have certain things that I value, right? Is my journalism making the world better, or is it going for stasis? Am I making a point when I do a story? Sure, I can do a lovely story on deadline, but does it mean something? Is it going towards the punching the thing in the face? Am I chipping away at the best? And I think that all the work that we do should be aimed at something larger, right? Illuminating something greater, or whatever. And you don't have to be thinking that every day, right? When you load up your camera or load up your put your batteries in your recorder. But it's like, the point is like, what stories am I choosing? Why am I telling this story?
Mm.
Right? Who am I working with? And who am I helping? Am I listening? Like, all those things that, like, I think that those day-to-day questions help you answer larger questions. Like, am I just doing it well? Do I love it? Do I enjoy it? And I don't enjoy. I've been just spent 15 years doing deadline journalism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about what General Motors earnings report was for the third quarter.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. That's
like,
not making the world a better place.
Yeah, like, I can tell that story and I can tell you how it's important, but it ain't changing the world. Like, I could do that story and I could do it the best version of that story.
Mm-hmm.
The most unbelievably, unimaginably creative thing that I could possibly think of. And it still doesn't move the needle, right? And that's not, but it's like, but because I'm focused on the news, on doing something that would get your attention from a push notification, right? I don't want that. I mean, who cares about push notifications? Like, I want you to settle in, right? I want you to, like, dig in and, like, be shocked or offended or inspired or something like that by the stuff that I'm creating. I mean, because like I said, it's like I've been doing it for a while. It's 15 years, and you have to like 20 years or whatever. And I can get better at doing 4-minute pieces, or I can lift my head up and say, oh, how does this fit into something else? Or who can I work with that's different? Or how am I moving the ball along? And when you do that, I think we ask those questions daily. The bigger ones get easier, right? I'm a trade unionist. I believe in unions. I believe in public media, and I believe in helping young people, right? I work at youth radio. I was a member of SAG-AFTRA, and I worked in public radio for 15 years, and I plan on continuing to work there, right? Those are, but asking like, why am I doing this City Hall story? Is it moving me? And after a while of doing those stories, you have to ask, maybe I shouldn't. Like, that's what I did. I was like, I would rather be doing like a documentary about, let's say, Quincy Jones.
Sure.
Or, Bill Whitten, who made the glove. That's somebody's story. Like, no one's told his story. You can Google Bill Whitten. Go ahead, Google. And you'll see his work, but you won't see a lot about him. Like, Nat King Cole is gonna like turn 100 next year. No black man has written a book about him. I'm not saying that I'm going to, but that seems like an opportunity.
Right. Yeah, it's something just to talk about that needs to happen.
Yeah. It's like, and like, yeah, Sylvester, who's told his story, right?
You know, there's so many queer people who just don't even know the name.
Exactly. And that's the, and the other day, you'll love this. I was in some, the last thing that I'm obsessed with is coming out in a couple of days is, if you know me Matt is my friend. He knows me to be a ridiculous Judy Garland fan. But the ultimate Judy Garland movie, A Star is Born, not The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
The Wizard of Oz is the MGM movie. A Star is Born is a Judy Garland movie.
Yep.
The fourth version of that movie is coming out in a couple of weeks. And I just went and watched the previous 3 versions. So I'm completely obsessed. For all of you, you should go back and at least watch the Judy Garland version before you watch. Maybe if you could get through the Judy Garland and you had to view a second one, you'd go to the Barbra Streisand one. But if you're gay and you live in America, you need to watch A Star is Born by Judy Garland before you go to Lady Gaga. Not much has changed, and that's what's great about those stories.
Oh, yeah, it's very true. Like, that Judy movie, like, what year was that? And it still feels so timely.
54.
Yeah. Yeah, it just
54. And you know what's interesting? It's like, there's a reason why that story's been told 4 times, right? It's the man sacrifices for the woman in that movie. When do you see that?
Not a lot. And it's still so timely. It just feels like it, watching the original feels like it could be about today. And so it's so exciting to see someone contemporary making it. We were talking about it earlier on the stream about how everyone involved, like Lady Gaga really seems to be like, just in the trailer, she's doing just amazing work, and how exciting it's going to be to see her singing in the film.
Yeah. And singing from just like a very, very, I feel like this is what she was meant to do, right? And it's the perfect character for her. Like it's exactly who she's supposed to be.
Right.
It's a very talented woman who's not that attractive, who gets help from another person, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like an amazing, amazing thing.
I love the advice that you've got for, like, first watch the Judy Garland version so that you're all caught up on that. And then also, like, it's just so inspiring to hear you talk about, like, the importance of making work that's meaningful and is making the world a better place, and that is personally meaningful to the person who's to you, to the work that you are proud of the work that you're doing is just an important reminder to get, like, how important that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, because now I'm realizing it's like I was at so Quincy Jones turns 85, and this was the first time I went to one of these huge Hollywood special things, you know? And one of the clips that they played, he said, Well, I figure if I like it, if it thrills me, if it makes my hair stand on end, then it will for other people. And I think that the thing for creative people, gay people, whatever, who think this way is like, you're enough, right? If your taste is enough, your eye is enough. If you're like, if I'm choosing audio, if I'm choosing a thing and I'm thinking about what I think the NPR audience wants, I'm going to fail. But when I'm like, this is great, this lights my candle, that's when I win, right? And
Awesome.
And to think that I'm enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Sonari, I can't think of like more inspiring words for you to leave us with. And we're coming up on 4. So I want to be sensitive to everybody's time and thank everyone for joining us for this lovely live stream. And thank you so much for sharing that book. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Okay, I'm gonna do a plug for it.
Yeah, please.
See, it's R&B funk. It's from Toshin Books. You can get it at any Toshin store. You can order it on Amazon. It's $70, but I've already bought 4 of them. So trust me, it is worth it. You just for the Shaka Khan photos alone.
Yeah.
And if you're a heavy spender, you can buy one for $1,500 to keep me and Bruce in champagne and strawberries. So
okay, good to know.
Pick up the book.
Absolutely. Right? Wow. Thank you so much, Sonari, for joining us. And thanks to everybody who popped by for the chat, to Videodrome and Kevin and Nunik Jeff and Will Schneider is just popping in. Really great to see you. And I hope you'll join us for the next live stream. It's going to be in 2 weeks on the 13th, on October 13th. So thanks again to everybody, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.